In this episode, I'm talking about you. Hey everyone, welcome to The Ascent, episode 13. I am your host, Steve Campbell. Lucky number 13, here we go. So today I wanted to talk about leadership. It's something that's been on my mind a lot recently. My girlfriend was in town about a week ago and she staffed a workshop for me, and I got to learn a lot of things and qualities about being a leader through that. And we had an all hands meeting here at Vayner, and Gary talked about leadership and all of that. And it's just something that's really been a topic on my mind recently, and it's something that I think a lot about anymore. And it's something I want to be better at, and I feel like a lot of other people do too, so I wanted to just riff on it for a little bit. First, let me back up to the all hands meeting that we had. I think that one of the things that Gary always mentions when it comes to leadership that I really respect and I always listen to is that as a leader, everything is your fault. Everything in the company that's going wrong inherently is his fault, even if he didn't have a hand in it, because it's his company. And so anyone that's underneath him is inherently somebody that he's responsible for, which is everybody. So basically at the end of the day, everything's his fault. And I think that that's a really good mentality to have. I think that, if you treat yourself that way, even if you're not the top guy, you're not the CEO of your company, if you're acting that way, like everything's your fault, then you find yourself, one, you stop complaining as much as you do. I think one of the least attractive qualities that you can have is somebody who complains all the time, and I think that we all know people like that in our workplace, and just try not to be that person. I mean, there's always going to be something to complain about, or if somebody asks you where something is or why something's late, don't take offense to that. Like, treat it as business, and just handle yourself and just be the bigger person. You don't want to take things too personally, and I think that people get frustrated and they start to internalize those frustrations, and they start to get frustrated even more, and then they start complaining to other people, or they'll start talking about somebody behind the other person's back, or they'll start venting. There's a number of things that it could lead to, but none of them are really good. And I think that if you internalize the fact that everything is your fault, or if you're looking for an alternative to that, I would look to what I learned at that workshop that Melissa staffed for me, which is you're the only person that you can control. At the end of the day, when you think about that, if you think about your relationships that you have with certain people, if they're strained, or if you have a bad one with somebody, whether that's your boss or a parent or whoever, somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time, I think that that's really good advice, is to recognize the fact that they are out of your control. Like, you can try as much as you want to try and change somebody, but it's just not going to happen at the end of the day. Like, most of the time, you're going to expend a lot of energy. It's better to take that energy and put it back on yourself, because you're what you can control. You can control how you act, how you behave. You can be the person that reaches out to somebody. You can be the person that says, hey, can we have a chat about this, or hey, can we talk one-on-one really quick? You can fix your own situations. You'd be surprised how many of them you'd fix actually when you go about this, of just treating everything like it's on you. What I've found is when you start to act that way and you start to treat everything as if it's on you at the end of the day, then you start to be a more of an adult. You start to approach things a lot differently. I think you start to build these qualities inherently in yourself that are admirable, and the people around you automatically look up to you. When these types of situations arise, if you're just being the bigger man or bigger woman in the situation, it affects those around you whether they say anything about it or not. Actions speak louder than words, and I think if you're saying and thinking things but not doing them, or you're saying and thinking one thing but doing something else, I think that's like the biggest problem that a lot of people have. And I think when you apply leadership tactics like that, I think that you just really go about problem solving in different ways, and I think that really makes you valuable at the end of the day. Also, I mean, you never know who's listening. I mean, if you are in a situation and you want to talk it out with somebody, or you want to talk it out with your team, and it might be uncomfortable, but even you asking a question or doing something or being that person in the room, people around you might not always speak up, but somebody in the room is going to be listening to you, and it might be somebody who can help you. And you never know. I've been in situations where I'll say something in a room and then it'll fall on deaf ears, and then afterwards somebody will take me to the side or email me or whatever and say like, oh, that was inspiring, or oh no, I know somebody who can help you with that, or there's just a million different things that can really just lead to a solution. And I think that if you put yourself out there in that way and you come about it a certain way, that people are going to respect that and they're going to respect you. And I think that goes a long way with people above you and around you and below you. I mean, hey, what do you got to lose, right? So that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I wanted to riff on leadership a little bit today. I'm happy to be back. I haven't really done one of these in a little while. Sorry. Promise to be better, but at least I have a new intro. So leadership is a fun topic. I think it's something that I want to talk a little bit more about, in my videos. I think that it's something that, like I said, I'm really interested in and I want to speak more to and I want to be better at. So you don't get better unless you do something, right? So that's what I'm going to start thinking about and spending my time on. And I'm excited for things to come. So my advice to you, be the best leader you can be. Everything's your fault. Everything's on you. You're the only person that you can affect and change. You just go about your day with that mentality and see what happens.